had married people issues, but
Yeah.
they were normal.
But we're not married anymore. Something must have happened. I felt a little selfish as well, too, because I felt like I dropped a hammer on you, and I'm like, it's all about me now.
And it was this horrible feeling of guilt that I had because I'm like, well, I committed to this man. I love this man. We had all these things, but they're like, yeah, but something fundamentally changed there, and you're allowed to reevaluate. What's up, listeners? Get ready for raw, unfiltered, laugh out loud conversations among friends. So take your bra off, get comfy, and let's jump into our show. So, how you feel?
Different.
Yeah, turn off your notifications, dude.
Sorry.
You have the distinction of being the first man on Bras Off.
Cool.
Paul is having a I don't know what to do with my hands moment, and that's okay. I know this is going to be kind of a interesting conversation and maybe even a difficult one, and it's okay. So we're here to support each other.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So first, let me introduce Paul, because as you can see, we're very familiar with each other. So, of course, this part
she doesn't know me that well. She has to go to her notes.
This is Paul. You guys may have heard me talk about Paul, but let me introduce Paul in a way that maybe some people don't know him. So Paul Nagel is a highly decorated Army veteran with 20 years of dedicated service, a proud Bay Area native from Hayward, California. And he brings the same commitment and leadership from his military career into his family life, because Paul is a devoted dad and stepdad of 4 grown-ass kids, and he's a grandpa to a really sweet little girl. At home, he's a loyal dog dad to Sarge who keeps life fun and grounded. And the other distinction of Paul is he's my former spouse. So you guys have heard me talk about being married twice, and this is my second husband. But as you can see, we're not like throwing things at each other, so we're still quite close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think almost closer now than probably before.
Not probably, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So this episode is going to be a personal one for me and probably a personal one for Paul, because we want to talk about why our marriage ended. But in order to do that, let's start with how it started. When did you fall in love with me?
Oh, man. That would probably be when I fell in love with you. It's a couple of days ago.
Stop.
So we first started talking to each other via Facebook, back in 2009, before Facebook was even like Facebook now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely not Facebook dating. It wasn't even like that, because I was recently divorced and you were getting out of the military, right? You were just retiring.
Yeah, and I was splitting up with my ex as well.
And we were doing a workout program.
We were doing a home workout program. I don't know if you want to keep it nameless.
No, we're going to talk about it.
All right, we'll go.
We're doing Insanity. So, I'll tell it from my perspective. So we were doing Insanity, but I was, divorced. I was living in an apartment and I was po. And so I didn't have much money, and we split time with my daughter, Naomi. So Naomi was with me, and at the time she was maybe like 4 or 5. And I needed a workout that I could do, but where I didn't have to leave the house. And so, of course, I was maybe at my apartment gym on one of the days that I didn't have my daughter, and they start at like 5 a.m. They inundate you with infomercials. So it was like P90X and Insanity every single day. And I looked at him like, well, I have just enough room on my credit card to get one of these programs, and P90X needed equipment. So I was like, Insanity it is. So that's how it got started. And then I remember just wanting to reach out to other people who were dying like I was, because that workout was no joke. Thank you, Shanti. And then I found this like Insanity group. Yeah,
it was actually the actual business page, if I remember correctly, because they didn't have groups back then.
They didn't have groups back then.
They didn't. So, and I was kind of the same way. I was just retiring from the Army. I hadn't done PT in months. And because of me not sleeping and everything, I remember seeing those infomercials. And I remember right around Christmas time, I said, I want to do that one program that guy's in the school gym at.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, oh. Then it came on again. I'm like, this is the one. So I ordered it probably shortly right after you did, or maybe before, who knows?
No, it was before, because you were 2 weeks ahead of me on the schedule. I remember that. So the way Insanity works, it's on a schedule. And I remember joining, and I remember meeting a couple of people who actually we're all still in touch with to this day. And there's something about commiserating over something that's so painful because we were all dying.
That was.
And I remember seeing Paul's picture and thinking, God, he's scary. Do you remember what your profile picture looked like at that time?
No, I think it was, did I have sunglasses on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this buzz cut sunglasses with the mean grimace now that I know, which is he's such a teddy bear, but I know when he wants to look mean, he can. Anyway, so we were talking about that. And then I remember watching you go off on somebody in the group. And then I was like, he's real scary.
See, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, right. But you could see yourself going off on someone on social media. That's kind of on brand for you.
Is that me?
Yes.
It's not me.
Totally.
A little bit of me. Yeah. So, but that's how we kind of started.
We connected.
Yeah, recognizing each other. And then fast forward a couple of years, and we met for the first time in L.A.
Yeah. The Beachbody
At
conference.
a Beachbody conference.
I had a boyfriend at the time, long-term boyfriend too, and you even met him.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I think in the back, we look back at these photos of that conference, and what Paul skipped over
you were
was
stalking me
I
the
was
entire
not.
time.
I was not. What Paul skipped over was he created this group, this really great group after Insanity ended.
Once they made groups in Facebook.
Yes, that's right.
Years,
He was always ahead of his time. Anyway, but the Insanity program was only 60 days, but we'd bonded so much with the people in the online that we're like, we want to keep this going. And it became this accountability group. And Paul created it. And so he was in there. I joined. A whole bunch of our friends joined. It ended up becoming a couple hundred people. But every day we'd go in there, and we're such meatheads. We talk about workouts, what we were doing, what's going on. You would have contests. You're like, oh, it's pajama week, or it's rep your team week. He's just such a natural connector. And the funny thing was, all the women in the group were like, ooh, he's cute. And I was just like, whatever. I had a boyfriend, so it's like I thought those same things, but I couldn't express it. But then we all met, and it was like a year and a half later-ish in L.A., at that conference. And so all these people who'd never connected in person finally got to connect in person.
Yeah.
And we were all hanging out together and everything and taking pictures. I think we ended up in an article in the Beachbody Times or whatever they would call it.
Yeah, we did.
And looking back, what was the phenomenon?
Everywhere I was at, she was there.
Okay, explain it differently, because people think I'm a stalker, and that's clearly not true.
Okay, so literally anywhere I showed up at, she was there. Her mom even said that she was stalking me.
No, my mom would never say that.
It.
My mom said the opposite. When we took pictures, you and I were always next to each other in the pictures.
That was weird.
When we did workouts, because Beachbody would have these mega workouts, we were always next to each other. And I don't think it was planned. At least it wasn't for me. And I don't think it was for you.
It just happened. I mean, we just kind of connected.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And I remember at the last day, we said we should stay in touch and be accountability buddies. And I meant that sincerely, like as a friend. My boyfriend had flown out because we were going to continue the vacation. He shook your hand.
Yeah, he said, I've heard a lot about you, And I was like, really?
Yeah. So we ended up staying in touch. And then talk about what happened that next summer. Do you remember?
Well, I had a heart attack.
Yeah.
The next summer we were thinking before that we were talking about meeting up again, the group again. Mm-hmm. And then on June 12th, I had a heart attack. I think it was June 12th.
Yeah, it was.
And I knew I was having a heart attack. I drove myself to the hospital, even though I shouldn't have. It was probably the stupidest thing to do, but I drove myself to the hospital, told them I was having a heart attack. They didn't believe me. They hooked me up to an EKG. And I guess when you are having a heart attack, they know right away when you're having a heart attack. So they're like, yeah, he's having a heart attack. So they took me right back. And I was by myself. I had just dropped the kids off with their mom. We were already split. So she was at Fort Hood. I just took the kids to Fort Hood. I still had the dogs with me.
Your neighbor watched the dogs.
And I was like, and before as they were rolling me back, I'm like, somebody's got to get a hold of somebody and let them know about my dogs. But I didn't have anybody else there. And then I was like, the next day I was just sitting in my room and
Posted.
a what?
You posted about it.
Well, yeah, I did post about it, but I was going to say I had this flower show up.
Yeah. Let me fill in the blanks. So keep in mind, Paul at this time lived in Texas. I lived in Michigan. So we were just really tight friends. And I remember seeing that post, and I knew immediately a couple of things. Number one, I was worried. And my first inclination was to get on a plane and go to Texas. And then my second thought was, this guy's just my friend. Why would I feel like this strongly about it? And I realized it's like, I think I have feelings for this guy. Look at that.
Sorry.
So, of course, I couldn't get on a plane because I just didn't roll like that. But I sent flowers. I sent flowers to the hospital. And, of course, all of us in our little group were buzzing about, oh, my gosh, Paul, what's going on?
He's dead.
No, we did say that.
Who's going to take over?
No, they didn't say that. But I did send flowers to you. And then after that.
It's the only flowers I got.
Yeah. And then after that, we talked. We were a lot closer.
Yeah, we started getting a lot closer.
And I remember that 4th of July, because neither of us ended up going to the Beachbody Conference again. But that 4th of July, I think we talked more closely. When I say intimately, not like intimately, but like closely than we had ever had before.
Yeah.
So let me fast forward, because the story's not about how we got together, even though that story is awesome. Fast forward, boyfriend of 2.5 years dumps me over the phone, by the way. And if you're listening to this, anyway, best thing we could have ever done. And then because this time we were both going to the Beachbody Conference again. And then here comes little slick Mr. Paul. So maybe we can hang out a little bit at the conference. I'm like, no, you're divorced. I'm coming out of a long-term relationship. You live in Texas. I live in Michigan. This makes no sense. And then we just continued to FaceTime and talk to each other literally every single day.
Yeah.
So when June hit, and it was also my birthday, this guy in Vegas, which I think is funny because I live in Vegas now, in Vegas, arranged for a limousine to pick me up and surprise me with a helicopter ride over the strip.
I was there with you, though.
Yes.
Well, you said I arranged for
the
pick you
car.
up. I was also there.
Yes, you were there.
That'd have been cool, though, if I had just arranged it all and you just did your own thing.
Anyway, so he was there, and I was smitten. That was it. And what was the song that was playing when we went to the hotel?
Peaches and Herb.
Reunited.
Right.
So after that, it was kind of a done deal. I'd visited him in Texas, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, he just ended up moving to Michigan. And it was so weird because I think my family thought I was nuts, which is not the first time.
Right.
If you guys have been listening to the show, you know that I do a lot of things that a lot of people do not understand. But my family thought I was nuts, but it just worked. We ended up getting married twice.
We got married twice.
Mm-hmm.
2 good weddings, too.
Great weddings. One in Michigan, our home church.
Yeah, the one that we thought was just going to be a quick and simple one.
We were originally going to have a destination wedding in Punta Cana, and everyone's like, you should legally get married first before you go because it's a lot easier. So we're like, okay, we just booked a little chapel at our church with our friend and pastor Drew, and we're going to get married. And then our family's like, well, what if we can't go to the destination wedding? And unfortunately, that's what everybody started saying.
People started
saying most people actually came. We had to get a bigger venue, and it became this last minute medium-sized wedding that we did not plan.
Turned out I lost my shirt that day.
Oh, you didn't lose it. He and his brother at the reception got a little too happy. It came off. They both came in with no shirts on. I mean, I wasn't complaining, but the pictures are kind of odd. My mom was like, I can't ever show these pictures. They're like, who's the white man with no shirt on?
Which one?
Right.
That's a couple
Poor
of us.
Matt, your other brother. This is our first time meeting his now wife, Megan. It was her first time meeting the family, and all she sees is these 2 boys with no shirts on. And the rest, it was a wild, fun day. But then we had a beautiful destination wedding in Punta Cana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great trip.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go back there, actually.
Yeah. Beautiful water. Tried to drown me while I was surfing. I was outperforming you, so he pushed me over.
I didn't do that. You crashed into me when we were out surfing.
Right.
You took my wave.
I took your wave. No, the pictures show you veering into me. So
Because you took my wave, so I had to locals only.
Okay, California boy. So needless to say, we had a really great, almost fairy tale like meeting.
Yeah, and I think for the most part,
we had married people issues, but they were normal.
But we're not married anymore. Something must have happened.
Something must have happened. No, but we blended our families. Our kids still get along really well. You know, I know my daughter still is your stepdad. And a few years ago, though, I ended up moving to Las Vegas, and you stayed here. So, do you want to talk about what the thing was that changed things?
You said you didn't want to be with me anymore.
That's
how I remember it correctly.
Come on, stop telling Tori stories on this thing. No, but this is the part where I think not a lot of people know this story, and even some members of your family still don't know.
Nope, and they might know now.
They might know now.
So. Well, I am gay. Been gay probably my whole life. But I think I was in denial a lot of most of my life, especially being in the military. It was tough. I just buried it, you know. I just did what I thought straight people did. So, and then it just started getting tougher and tougher. I wanted to be able to be the person I really wanted to be. And thankfully, because of an amazing wife, she picked up on it.
Yeah, people always ask me, like, do I think you knew? And I'm like, the way I answer it is, I think on a level that we all kind of know inside when things are not aligned.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever purposely deceived me.
No.
I don't ever feel that because you know this, and even now I know you better than you know yourself sometimes.
Yeah, and I truly love you. I mean,
I know, and I love
you.
I
still would have married you because I loved you. I guess I did, but
you did.
Yeah,
and I did. But yeah, I think what I noticed was, you know, you are a veteran, and you've seen combat, you've seen a lot. And when I say highly decorated, you have a Bronze Star. You have a Meritorious Medal of Freedom?
Meritorious Service Medal.
Whatever. I don't know. Clearly, I was not with him during the military years,
so I get that
stuff
actually.
Wrong. You have 3 of those. I'm sorry. But he also has a Purple Heart because he was injured in battle, and it was pretty serious, and other people got hurt too. And I always felt like during our marriage, those were things that you struggled with, you know. But the other thing that happened during our marriage is I thought you started to really heal. Like you went to therapy, you started taking meds.
Because a lot of this was due to you.
Right.
I'm here today because of you. I truly am. Both physically and mentally. I'm here today because of you. I was in very dark places for a long time. And not really realizing how dark they were until actually I left Texas and came up here, and they got really darker. But if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
You're not supposed to make me cry during this, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
All right, let me try a little harder.
Okay, stop. No, so I think what it was for me was I think that you finally were in a place where you started to heal, and hopefully that allowed you to feel more yourself.
It did.
And I think that's what I started to pick up on. It wasn't that, like, all of a sudden you were, you know, wearing, I don't know, whatever the stereotypical.
Don't stereotype me.
No, well, you were always a little metro.
A little bit.
He was always comfortable with himself, and I love that about him. But I don't know. It's just something that when you know someone really well, and I think I just asked you. I think one night I asked you, I was like, do you think you might be bisexual? Because I was like, right, no problem. You still like me. You like girls. We're good. And you're like, I don't know. But I clearly hit something at that point.
You did. You opened up the door.
Yeah.
You know, and it spawned a whole different conversation, and it changed the trajectory of our relationship instantly. But I think at first it might have looked not the greatest, but I think it ended up being the greatest.
Yeah.
I'm more closer to you now than I think I ever was.
I agree. I think because we're both able to be ourselves.
Yeah.
The first parts after were confusing for me, I think. That would have been the word I would use, because I guess at first I asked you if you're bisexual, and I was like, okay, no problem. I'm open. I love you. You're my husband. As long as you, still like me, we're good. But then as you started to, I don't know, lean more into yourself, I think then you said, I'm gay.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for us? And as someone who loves you, I was really happy that you felt yourself, because I think what I saw was that you just felt so much more like relaxed and free.
I was, but I felt a little selfish as well too, because I felt like I dropped the hammer on you, and I'm like, it's all about me now, and
yeah.
And I hope you.
Might have been a little selfish. Okay.
I guess my point being, it's like I just felt like I ripped your heart out for a short period of time there. It just felt really like it's all about me, and
I think
I felt a little guilty.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul, too, because I know you do. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to have this as a podcast episode was because during that time, I had no idea who to turn to. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what resources there were, because there's so many, not so many, but there are more than there used to be for people who are coming out. And I was really happy about that. So I think I even sent you articles and books, because that's what I do.
That's what you do. Yeah,
that's what I do. But for me, I was desperately trying to find those resources, because I kept thinking, like, what does this mean? Like, do we have to break up? Do we still live it? Like, how does this work? And there was nothing. There was no one talking about this. Or if they were talking about it, they were always talking about it in terms of, like, bringing a third person into the relationship. I'm like, I don't think either of us were going to get down with that. No.
We talked about a different bunch of. We were even looking at homes that had different.
Next gen homes where you would live here, I would
my
live
own
there.
side, you have your own side, and we'd meet in the middle, and we had all kinds of different plans. I mean, the initial plans were, all right, we're going to stay together and figure this out.
We talked about living separately but still staying together. Yeah. We talked about all the options.
Yeah.
But inside, I was like, it did feel like loss. Because it was like, we'd planned a life. We'd been planning. Like, we were like, oh, when that last kid gets out of the house, we were looking at all these places to live. We were Hawaii and Colorado. I don't know why we were thinking about Colorado. I'm so glad I didn't pull the trigger on that. We had all these plans. And I think for me, it was just this, like, what do I do now? And so one of the pivotal things, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but you remember when I went to go visit Christina in Seattle?
Yeah.
That was huge for me, because I needed a bit of a break from being at home together. And the first thing she's like, well, Jennifer, what do you want? And I hadn't thought about that. I kept thinking about us and us and us. She's like, what about you? And it really opened a lot for my brain, because I felt guilty for wanting a life outside of us. I felt like I'd be abandoning you or abandoning our marriage. And, I took our vows very seriously. I really thought it was going to be forever and ever. And so coming back from that trip is when I really started to ask a lot of different types of questions and ask myself, what did I really want? And I had a lot of, I did have some help and coaches and people at that time. I went on that retreat and really started to figure out what my life would look like without you. And it was weird and exciting and scary and all of that, sad, all at the same time. So I'm curious, like, I think when we finally got past that guilt, we started speaking much more honestly with each other. And I'm curious, like, what were some of your, like, I was going through my whole thing. What was your thing that you were going through?
Well, I didn't know what it meant to be gay, because I had never lived the gay lifestyle. So honestly, I still haven't really lived it. But I think I'm more honest with myself now. I'm able to be a little bit more open. And I still want to sit there and be a good role model for our kids and my grandkids. So still just working on that. But it was scary just kind of, once we realized we weren't going to live together forever, then I got to thinking, well, what does that mean? You know, what does that mean? I'm going to finally be by myself, and I hadn't been by myself.
You hadn't been by yourself in forever.
Ever. I went from living at home to living with 60 other people in a dorm, or not dorm, but a barracks. In a barracks during basic and AIT, and then lived with 5 roommates in Germany, and I had never been alone. Well, I was alone for maybe 9 months, where I had my own room for like 9 months by myself. But I was always, I was always with somebody. So living alone was a little scary for me. I was like, what am I going to do? So I did that, and then life happens, and my daughter had to come live with me with my granddaughter. So I was very happy about that. So now I'm finally alone again, and kind of enjoying it. I'm kind of enjoying it, you know. And I know you are. We still talk all the time.
We talk all the time.
And I think you love your privacy, your soloism. I don't even know if that's a word, but
it is now.
It is now. And I really do love it. And that's what I love about us, because we'll still call each other on the phone and talk for 2 hours before we even realize we're saying anything.
Yeah.
And just be talking. So I think this has been the smartest thing for us. And I'm so thankful for you to be because if it wasn't for you, I don't even think I'd still try to, live this lifestyle that I'm living now. And I love it. I have some great friends now in the community, and it's making it all worth everything that we've been through. Finally coming to the right side of the happiness, I think.
Yeah.
Finally.
And I'm really happy for you, and I'm happy for me. And I think that's the one thing that I know, the handful of people who know why we split, they're always expecting me to be so angry with you, and they like, he hid it and you're his beard and all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not it. And that wasn't our situation at all. And that's why I think it's important to have more stories out there like this, because I'm sure there are a lot of other people who are going through similar things, but they think you either have to have been on the down low, or, you hid it, or we had this like lavender marriage that we hid from everyone. And none of those things were true. We were 2 people who really cared about each other, who built a life together, who had a family together and homes together. And
we were faithful to each other.
Very faithful. That was the other thing. People were like, girl, he was cheating on you. I'm like, oh my God. Paul spent every moment of his life with me. Yeah. We would go to the grocery store together. We were those people.
Yeah, I don't know how I...
You couldn't hide it if you wanted.
Yeah, I was just trying to think about it. I'm not a good liar as it is. No. So when I do lie, I have pretty telltales. No. What are you talking about?
Right. No, and that's the thing. I've always wanted you to do well. I don't know if there was ever a point. I mean, sure, we had a couple fights, but it was mostly frustration fights of like not knowing what to do. But there was never a time where I'm like, that bastard,
No, not once.
And that was the thing. When I was looking for support and help, it's like everyone either wanted to villainize you, or they thought it was like, they always thought it was like some sexual thing. Like, okay, so are you going to have an open marriage? Are you going to do this? I'm like, I don't work like that.
No, yeah,
And so I think what's been interesting and difficult sometimes, but also fun, is over these years navigating what our relationship looks like.
Yeah.
So
I think for us, we did it the right way. It might not be the right way for somebody else, but for us, I think this was our right way. And I think it proves that because of how close we are today.
I'll admit it was a little hard for me at first, because you don't just stop feeling like a wife.
Right.
So one of the things I know, even during our marriage, that even you said, you're like, you don't need to do all this stuff, because there were some things like you'd mentioned you had a heart attack. So you have some heart things, and we went through some medical things together. And I probably tended to be a little hovercraft wife. did you take your stuff? Did you do this? Did you do that? And I felt like you needed it because you weren't always great at taking care of yourself.
You might be right at that.
I might be right about that. But also I had to learn how to let that go, which was very difficult because both you and I,
and you still haven't.
I do. I've released it a lot.
A lot.
Yeah,
it's not officially gone yet. Which I'm kind of okay with.
Okay.
Because I do like when you care about me.
I do care. I always care. But the thing is, what I've noticed is you and I, now that we've lived apart, like, okay. So I've been to his home, and you haven't been to my new place, but you helped me move out of my old place in Vegas. I do want to tell that story too.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those after this. But I've noticed that there's so many things, like when we were married, that I would have vetoed, and then I go to his house, and it's like, oh, he took this moment, and now it's everything he wants.
First time on my own.
Well, one of the biggest differences between Paul and I are Paul likes all this like stuff around him. When he likes something, he invests in it. Like he'll have all the clothes, he'll have all the action figures. Like he's a Star Wars guy.
I'm a collector.
He's a collector. He likes stuff. Me, I'm more of a minimalist. I don't like clutter. I like things neat and in order. And if I don't use it, I don't want it. So everything, I don't want to say my home is like bare, but it's like everything has a place. And if I don't collect things, because I just see those as things that I'll eventually have to move, get rid of, clean. I don't want to deal with it.
My place is still very
No, Paul's a neat freak.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're messy at all. Everything is very clean and in its place, but there's stuff everywhere.
It all means something.
And it all means something. Oh, Jennifer, I just got more. I ordered these skateboard things that I'm mounting on the wall. Oh, I got these Star Wars action figures, and they're all lined up. I'm like, oh my God. Meanwhile, I'm like, whew, I finally got rid of all this other crap that I didn't have to use. And I literally could move all my stuff in like not even a full-size truck. And I like that. I love that. And so I feel like you and I both expressed ourselves really differently. So I don't say anything. Like the first time I visited you at your house, I was like, it's weird because I feel like I'm not a guest, but I'm a guest.
But you also said something that still sticks with me today. Says, this is you.
It is.
You just look at it and said, yep, this is you. So that is the biggest compliment you could ever give me.
Yeah. So. Yes, you're in your full you-ness now. And I think I'm in my full you-ness. So there's this part of like being single again, which is very weird, especially since we're still so close. But I also feel like I'm really fully myself and I like it.
Good.
But I still have the friendship that I think that's the thing. Before we even were romantically involved, we were friends for years.
It was easy to go back to that.
And it was easy to go back to that. But now we have the familiarity of being a couple.
Yeah.
And also all the hard stuff that we helped each other through. And so there's this like deep connection that's always going to be there.
Yep. No, you're not going to make me cry.
No. Now let's talk about the deep connection that's always going to be there so this summer I had to have a major surgery. And when I moved to Las Vegas, I didn't have family in Las Vegas. Of course, over the couple years, by that time I've been there a couple years, it created some really good friendships. But most people are like, they're not the deep 10, 20-year friendships that I have with people who are all over the place. My mom has not been able to travel because she has a medical condition. My sister wasn't able to come. My brother is a dad of 2 young kids and is completely cross country. And so I knew I had to have this major surgery. And they're like, you can't drive for a month and you can't do this. And not only that, it fell right when I was moving out of my lease and I had to move into a temporary house. Like it was like crazy timing.
I remember that.
And I just remember because I'd kept you informed of what was going on with me health wise. And I was like, yeah, I have to have surgery. And I didn't even have to ask. You said, when is it? And you're like, I'm booking my ticket. And that's kind of stuff where it's like, I love that you and I still have that and that I can always depend on you.
And I actually showed up.
And you showed up and helped me move. So it ended up my surgery, they moved it, but you ended up coming 2 weeks after and kind of orchestrating the move. And because I couldn't do anything, I couldn't.
Well, you say I orchestrated it, but you were still in charge of everything.
Well, I'm organized, of course. But I didn't have to lift a finger. You took apart the beds. You cleaned stuff up. You yelled at me when I was trying to clean stuff up.
Yeah.
you played with the dogs.
Well, the dogs, I missed the dogs.
I know you miss the dogs. My babies, our babies, I guess. But mostly mine. Uh, but you came in and did all that. You made friends with the movers. You made friends with my temporary spot. Like all of those things. And then we had a really nice little weekend, even though I couldn't do anything. Like I was literally still like healing, taking meds, all of
you
that
had a
stuff.
pretty major surgery.
Yeah.
So
it was just great that people were like, well, people were like, oh, who helped you during your surgery? And it's like, well, I had a lot of friends, and then Paul came out, and everyone was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So now it's like they understand, because I feel like we always want to put people in these boxes. Like, oh, they broke up. Somebody has to be the bad guy. And I don't think that was the case for us. We had a really difficult, for me, it was really difficult figuring out what to do and that whole period of separation. And then we didn't even tell the kids for a really long time until we had a plan.
You know, it was pretty funny and cool.
What was that?
Even on my side, when I say we split up, not one person ever vilified you. They're like, what'd you do?
Because I know.
Everybody, exactly. Everybody already knows how awesome you were. You wouldn't have did anything to screw this up. You're my friends. What'd you do?
No.
But when we told the kids,
well,
they're like, we already knew that.
Well, your kids were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We already knew. And Nay was like, okay.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's so cool to have a gay stepdad. She tells all her friends. She's like, oh, yeah, that's Paul, my gay stepdad.
My gay stepdad.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you guys, like, she'll still come over for Christmas at your house.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sad because I'm like, my baby's over there. But she's here in Michigan and I'm not. And the fact that when I come down and visit her, that you'll come down and hang out, or we'll spend time with you. And
did you tell people that we're in Michigan? I don't think they ever noticed this.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We'll definitely give out a shout out to My Place Podcast Studio. They're doing a great job hosting us while we're here. Normally I'm in Vegas at Vegas Content Studio, but
she wanted me on a podcast so bad she flew out here just to get me on a podcast.
I flew out for my kiddo's birthday.
Oh,
she had a major birthday, which they've already heard on the show in previous episodes.
About the birthday?
Yes, that I was coming out. But they didn't know I was flying out, and also had a surprise guest, because this is an interview that I've wanted to do for a long time. Yeah. And I'm glad we did this.
Yeah. I'm glad I was able to help whatever.
Yeah. What do you think has been like the most surprising things about us after we split?
Honestly, as well as we get along with each other, it's been really surprising for me. I figured we'd still be close, but I didn't realize, I never in my wildest dreams thought we'd be this close.
Oh, yeah.
Still to this day, like 3 years. It's almost 3 years.
Yeah.
It's almost 3 years.
I know.
And some people are still like, what is the deal with you?
I know. I think, well, like I said, who knows? The couple people in your family who don't know, if they're hearing this now, I hope they understand that we had you had your reasons, because I always said I'm never going to out you. This is your choice and how you talk about this with your family or your friends. But people were like, do you think he's closeted? I'm like, no, because I don't see him hiding himself.
No, I just don't advertise it. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. As I don't think anybody needs to.
Yeah, just one of those things now. I mean, I've never been officially out.
I don't even know. What do you mean by officially out?
Like, announcing it as an official announcement.
If you were like talking about, I didn't march in a gay pride parade yet, or
right, exactly. But people seeing this now who might not have known will know now whether they want to. I'm not reaching out to anybody specifically and saying it anymore. I'm just going to be who I am.
Be who you are.
Be me.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to be. What advice would you give to a couple who's going through what we went through?
It's a great question. The best thing is keep those ears open. Don't shut their ears off. Listen to what each other's trying to say to each other. Not just let it don't assume that you know what's going to be said by the other person and what it means. Let them experience their true feelings. Let all the feelings out, good, bad, or indifferent. And if you guys really want to work together and be together as still be friends, and however you want to work your relationship, you keep the ears open. It'll work for however you want it to work. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel anyway. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, but it makes me wonder, were you surprised by my reaction to
No.
you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Meaning whether we ended up, I wouldn't say talking ourselves into splitting up, but we ended up realizing after all the talks that we had that being separated is probably better for us. Mm-hmm. Even though we had way more conversations about living together in separate, we were literally looking at different blueprints to homes. We're like, how big is your side?
Right.
My side
That's
is,
true.
You know,
like you can have the smaller closet.
Exactly.
Even though in real life you would need the bigger closet.
I need the bigger closet.
Such a clothes horse.
I am a clothes whore.
Yes. I said horse, not whore.
I'm a whore. I'm a clothes whore.
Okay. Well, my advice would be to be completely honest. I feel like in a little bit, we kind of wasted time getting to the point because we're so worried about each other's feelings that maybe we weren't as upfront. At least I'll speak for myself. I wasn't as upfront with what I thought was going to be the best solution because I was so afraid of hurting you and saying like, I think we should be apart because we like, and that's why we were talking all around all these different options because I think we both kind of knew, but we also didn't want to be like hurt the other person. And I had a couple of, again, that trip to Seattle and hanging out with Christina, a very close friend, and then going on a retreat and just really helping people ask me like, what is it that you really want? Like, be honest. Like, what kind of life do you want? What kind of relationship do you want? Is this going to be it? Is this going to be good? And it was this horrible feeling of guilt that I had because I'm like, well, I committed to this man. I love this man. We had all these things, but they're like, yeah, but something fundamentally changed there and you're allowed to reevaluate. And that was really hard for me to just admit to myself. And then once I admitted it to myself, it was really hard for me to have that conversation with you. But once we did, it was almost like we both tiptoed. We went like a foot in, a foot in, a foot in. We're like, oh, okay, we're good. We're both on the same page. And that ended up going well. Are there times where you miss me as your wife, your wifey wife?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it gets lonely at my house. Mm-hmm. Me and Sarge looking at each other like.
Sarge is the dog.
Yeah. Sarge is all about Sarge, too. But I miss us sometimes. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I do. I think sometimes there are things that happen or there's these inside jokes that we would have or something comes on or I'll say something that I know you would immediately get and everybody around me is like, I don't know what that means. And I miss having that like person who really knows me. I think us being an interracial couple, we were so like people couldn't, if you didn't get us, you would be like, man, these people are terrible. But we were hilarious and we enjoyed each other's company a lot. You were always my favorite travel buddy. Like we always had a good time in the car, on a plane. It didn't matter. We had a great time.
The grocery store. On my little scooter.
Why did you have that scooter? I can't remember.
My back was out or something.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, we would just all these little inside jokes or when I would see stuff at Costco or even the bodybuilding thing. Both of us were in bodybuilding for a period of time and like being able to talk about like the meatheady gym rat stuff. There's nobody else who gets it like you did.
No.
So I do miss those types of things, but you know, it's a great opportunity. Obviously I'm in a new city. And so, I don't know. It's been a few years now. I don't know how much longer I can say it's new,
but you can run for mayor here soon.
No, I'm good. No offense, Vegas, but no. But I am starting to develop those friendships with other people and having those fun jokes and those types of things. But, you know, we spent like a decade together. So, of course, I'm going to miss some of those things.
decade.
I'm just saying a decade.
It's a decade plus, yeah.
Yeah. Depends on when we hit the starting point. From the time I thought you were scary on the Facebook thing. You're still scary now. Like you went through, if I saw your picture now on Facebook, you the bald head, you grew your beard out and everything with the menacing face. Yeah. We always joke about that.
I told Sydney that if I end up cutting this, I think Julia has to be in the room with me when that happens.
This would be his daughter and
my
granddaughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is all she knows me as.
Yeah.
Peepaw.
Peepaw with the big old white Santa Claus beard.
Peepaw.
Well, when we first met, there was no beard. There was dark hair underneath the bald hat. There was dark hair.
I had hair. I had hair up here, no hair here.
Right.
And that's exactly opposite.
But no, how do you feel that we finally had this conversation and recorded on air?
Yeah, that's a little freaky for me.
Yeah.
Because now you have evidence.
What do you hope that people, when they hear your story?
I just hope that if somebody else is in the same shoes, that they're not alone, that this doesn't have to be the end all or, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Yeah. It can be an amazing thing. Yeah. And I think it has. So if anybody is even in somewhere close to what we went through, just know that things can go in the favor that you want it to go into.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be bad.
I'd say the same thing. Rough times are ahead if you're going through this because it's a loss, it's a breakup, it's difficult. But I always say on the podcast that you have to know what you want and really shut out everything else. We didn't follow a playbook. There were no rules because it didn't really exist, at least not that I saw. So we had to just be honest with each other and make up our own. And I think that's the thesis that I always talk about with folks. It's like, if you have to be authentic, you have to know yourself, you have to know exactly who you are, and then you create the life that you want. And it may not look like any other life that anybody else has had, and that's perfectly okay, because what I appreciate now is that we're happy and we still have the best parts of our relationship.
Each other.
I'm no longer bugging you. You're no longer freaking me out with all your collectibles. And yet I know when hard things happen in your life, hard things happen in my life, we show up for each other.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's like you're one of the best friends I've ever had.
And I'll always be there for you, Mama.
Same. Papa Road Dog. And with that, I just want to say thanks for the conversation today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. And thanks for being brave enough to do this, because I know it's not an easy thing to do.
You're serious about all this?
Yes.
These are real?
Stop touching the mic.
Sorry. These are real?
No. So I also want to thank My Place Studios because they've been such a good host to us. If you guys need any support while you are here in Michigan, in Wayne, it's such a nice studio setup. Appreciate everyone's time and attention. And if you do want to subscribe to the Bras Off podcast, you can go to my YouTube at Finally Jennifer and subscribe, or you can go to brasoffpod.com and subscribe. But we like to make sure, obviously like today, that we have conversations that you're probably not hearing anyplace else. And that, one of the things that was really important to me, especially for today's conversation, is that there are examples of things that everyone wants to talk about, like dating and cute stuff, but it's like the hard stuff is what we're all really struggling with. And I wanted to make sure we have a platform to have those conversations. So thank you, listeners. Thanks, My Place Studios. Thanks, Paul. And make sure if you have comments on this episode, let me hear them, either at Bras Off Pod on Instagram or at Finally Jennifer on Instagram. And we're out. Thanks for listening to Bras Off. If you love the show, make sure you go to brasoffpod.com to subscribe and join our community.